Hey there, welcome to Trapping the Time. My name is Pablo, and today I'm going to review a watch from a micro brand from Singapore, one of the most modern and innovative countries in the world. The brand is RZE, and the watch we will see today is this very personal aviator called Fortitude. First of all, I must say that this watch, for a change, we have not bought it ourselves, but it has been RZE who has kindly sent it to us. And I say this for the record and to be known, not because I will mediate in any way the review, which will be as always as objective as possible, attending of course to my tastes. RZE has given it to us, but nothing more. We have no commercial agreement with them or any other interest than to make this video, of course, without any precondition. What I say in my videos is decided only by me. So thank you very much to RZE for the trust. And before talking about the watch, I will make a brief review of the brand that was born in Singapore in 2020. It is surprising that they had the courage to launch in the middle of the pandemic, although I guess they did not count on it. The CEO of the brand is Travis, a young entrepreneur who, in addition to being an airline pilot, has gotten into designing watches, and the truth is that he is not bad at it. The entire RZE collection has great personality and a very own design language of the brand, which masterfully combines retro and modern, both in its divers, as in their field watches, as in this aviator. The truth is that I like them all, and they all share the material they are made of, which is titanium. But what we have here is the RZE Fortitude Nimbus Grey. And the first thing I'll say is that I like it a lot. It's probably not the color I would have chosen, as I'm more attracted to green. But having said that, I will also say that this is also very nice, perhaps more discreet, but endowed with a great beauty and personality of its own. Its minimalist design is very well interpreted. Using the most current materials and technologies, they give a special character to this piece that is not intended to dazzle at first glance, but to captivate as it is repaired in the details of design and construction that adorn and define it. The first thing that distinguishes it from its competition is the material it is made of. A metal that is harder and much lighter than steel. In fact, titanium has the highest strength-to-weight ratio of all known metals. Of course, being harder does not mean that it scratches less, on the contrary. We know that titanium is light and resistant, but it is also more sensitive to scratches in daily use. But RZE has solved this problem by adding a coating called Ultra Hex that makes it much more efficient in this regard. How much is something we can't know at the moment, as we've only used the watch for a few weeks. So far though, the look and functionality are superb. It looks beautiful, and you can't believe how little it weighs, and also, unlike my other titanium, which is this Invicta, it doesn't look so porous, so sensitive to changes in appearance. This Fortitude is much more like steel. I guess thanks to that Ultra Hex coating, to the eye and to the touch, it hardly differs from other watches. Of course, where you notice it a lot is in the weight. It's so light you can't believe you're wearing a bracelet. Another defining feature of this aviator is that it has an anti-magnetic case that is 4 times more resistant to electromagnetic fields than the ISO 740 standard. In other words, it is quite protected from the magnets of our cell phones and other devices that can magnetize our watches, seriously affecting their accuracy. And having highlighted the main features that distinguish it, let's go into detail in the review of this RZE Fortitude Nimbus Grey. is a watch with 3 hands and date moved by an automatic caliber, the well-known Seiko NH35, which moves at 21,600 alternations hour, 3 Hz, and has a power reserve of plus or minus 40 hours, and allows manual winding and stop seconds. Its measurements are 41 mm case diameter, 48 mm lug to lug, 12.5 high, and its width between lugs is 20 mm. It has a water resistance of 10 bars or 100 meters. Starting with the dial, we can see that it is sandwich type in several layers. The dial is finished in a sandblasted gray color, darker on the perimeter around the minute indexes, near the rehaut, and degraded from the ring that make up the subscripts, so close together that they look like a white circle around the hour markers, which again are neither applied nor painted, as they are shaped through cuts in the main dial. They are rectangular in shape, except at 3, 6, and 9 o'clock, which are slightly trapezoidal, and the one at 12 o'clock with a double trapezoid. If the shape is acquired by these hour markers by absence, the volume and color is given in the sandwich interlayer under the dial. The paint on them is lumen of quite good quality, Superluminova of ABGW9 grade. I attest that they look very good at that time, which is when I really test the luminescence of my watches. Since many days I wake up before the sun, in the pitch dark of the room, at 6:30 in the morning. That's when I know if a lumen is effective or not, and I attest that this one is. Continuing with the dial, we see that it presents the logo of the brand below the 12 o'clock and above the 6 o'clock painted in white. The legend's automatic and 100 meters or 330 feet. As for the date, I really like the way it looks, but its performance is a bit more debatable. If the watch is perfectly illuminated, there is no problem, but in less favorable lighting conditions, the lack of contrast between the background, which is light gray, and the number, which is white, makes it a little difficult to see it. Anyway, it's a data with so much personality and so well designed that in this case I'm almost glad that functionality is sacrificed a bit for design. Aesthetically, it seems to me to be the most successful. In addition, it also helps to better perceive the sandwich effect of the dial. Continuing with the dial, we can see that the minute or second indexes do not look painted either, as they have relief and are very well integrated. If you look around, they have sandblasted paint. Even in the outermost part, well, they are perceived very well finished, like the whole watch. In front of the hour indexes it has, in Arabic numerals, white and quite small, the post-meridian time, that is, from 12 to 24 hours, except the 18th, whose space is occupied by the dater, and the 24th by the logo of the brand. And connecting the dial with the bezel, we can see a dark gray rehaut and painted 5x5, the minute indexes in Arabic numerals, except the 60, which carries the classic inverted triangle. And now the hands, of a design as simple as effective and, for my taste, very appropriate to the style of the watch. Plus, they look great in any circumstance, and that's exactly what you expect from an aviator, well, from any watch. The minute hand is baton, and the hour hand is pointed. Both are covered with white lumen. Like the trotter, the 3 acquire gray color near the center of the dial. I really like the touch of modernity that they confer to a watch that, for almost everything about its aesthetics, is rather retro-inspired. Although then the details of materials and finishes leave you in no doubt that it is a thoroughly modern watch. When I took it out of its box and held it in my hand, the first thing I thought was, wow, how well made it is and how little it weighs. And the next thing that came to my mind was, what a pity they didn't paint the second hand with some color, for example orange. But I must say that, as the days have gone by, I have realized that the latter does not need it, as many things already stand out in this Fortitude, such as the difference in textures, brightness, or heights in that layered dial. Well, what I mean is that the importance, so to speak, of this watch is acquired in the sum of all its parts. None of them dazzle, nothing is particularly eye-catching, but all of them add up to a beautiful design exercise and, to my taste, a very nice watch. Continuing outward, before the bezel, we must speak of the crystal, which is sapphire, completely flat and equipped with anti-reflective. All well and good there. And now it's my turn to talk about the bezel. Another very successful design detail, as I see it, is not to have arrived with the slanted groove at 45 degrees that characterizes it to the crystal, because as you see it has a ring of a couple of millimeters that separates and narrows those cuts inspired, according to Travis, its creator, in the turbine of a jet plane. The truth is that it fits phenomenally and, like the whole watch, evokes the retro and modern in equal parts and gives it a different air, claiming it for what it is. A beautiful aviator with its own style and overflowing personality. Of course, from the sobriety and good taste. Now comes the crown. Threaded, very large, although functionality is a priority, I also like the design. For its size does not hide that it is an aviator, and for that you need a big crown. I must also say that it is the most accessible and easy to manipulate crown of all my watches. Okay, my hands are not small, but I love being able to access the watch mechanism with ease and have as much information return as possible. Some of my watches either have such small crowns or their actuation is so hard that I never quite know if I'm overdoing it or get that feeling I need. In this case, not only does that not happen, but it's totally the other way around. It's very comfortable, easy to grip and manipulate, and you feel the guts of the watch in harmony with the feel of your fingers. If you unscrew it, you can see that the inside is an orange color, which helps to perceive with the sight if you wear it open or unscrewed. Besides being useful and aesthetic, instead of seeing the usual thread, you see that colored cylinder. It is also practical, as it makes that really sensitive part of the watch, the stem, firmer. Wow, another very elaborate design detail, and not exactly thinking about showing it off, because only the owner knows all this, but it speaks volumes about the care that has been put into every part of this Fortitude. The finish of the crown is brushed and shows in high relief, no laser, the logo of the brand. And we come to the case. Known that it is made of titanium and is anti-magnetic, it should be said that it is finished in a very fine vertical brushing. Another detail of finishing level you can see not only in the recess of the lugs, also in the vertical part of the case where it connects visually with the armies. Look how they have done it. It looks like an extension of this in the case, thanks to the depth and the different brushing on the sides. It's amazing how well finished it is. The truth is that you are surprised by this level in a micro brand. We continue with the bracelet, the perfect extension of the watch for its beautiful design, for how well resolved it is in the final link, which is also exactly the same as the rest of the links that are solid. I also like that the bracelet tapers as it descends to a clasp that, unlike the rest, is made of steel, and it shows in the color, which does not become that more grayish direct tone of titanium, but even being different materials and colors does not clash, and the whole looks pretty good. The closure is by pressure and has a safety tab. The release is produced by activating the side loops. As you can see, they have micro perforations to adjust it to any wrist, and also several links on each side have screws to adapt the bracelet to any size. To the touch, this bracelet is very similar to the steel bracelets I have. Visually, you can hardly distinguish it, and I can attest that its resistance to scratches is remarkable. I say that because that is usually the main drawback of titanium watches, and this one really performs very well in that. The cover is threaded, and this one should not have the protector that the rest of the watch has, because you can see that this one has suffered some scratches that make me think that this is so. Well, they have not put the ultra hex that the rest of the watch has. As you can see, it presents several legends that refer to the 100 meters of submersibility, that the crystal is sapphire, that it is made of titanium with ultra hex, and also about the caliber that mounts. In addition, you can see very tiny the logo of the brand. If the titanium scares many for its aesthetic aging so fast, this watch, thanks to the treatment they do, promises to behave according to what we all expect. I already tell you that in the weeks that we have used it, not only me, but also the kids have worn it. I can attest that it has not suffered more than if it were made of stainless steel. If you want to emerge in such a competitive and globalized market, better distinguish yourself with something you do very well. And I think that's exactly what this brand is doing. And not only for using titanium as a differential element, also for a very own design language and very good finishes. But here the question necessarily arises. Is it worth investing $599 in a watch of a micro brand, if for that price I can buy many watches, not only Japanese, also some Swiss, of established brands and that offer, in principle, greater reliability? It is a question to be solved by each one. As I see it, as an amateur and collector, there is a point where I want to go out of the Jack, Horse and King, well, of the brands we all know and appreciate. Not everything is going to be Japanese and Swiss. I like and I think it is very good for the watch market that there are entrepreneurs who take risks and offer alternatives. It is an aviator with a huge personality, which looks and feels different, not only for its lightweight, but also for its build quality, its appearance and other features that are not so obvious, such as that case with a resistance to magnetism 4 times higher than the ISO standard. To me, it looks like a great watch with hardly any flaws. When I see it on my wrist, it brings a smile to my face. Its design has a retro feel, but it is also modern and fun. It has convinced me almost completely, and has certainly left me with the desire to have some more RZE in my box. And coming to the end of the review, I will summarize the good and the bad. Starting with what does not convince me, not that it is nothing tragic, it is that I would have preferred to mount a 4 Hz. And the other small defect is the cover, which seems to age too fast, but well, as this is not seen, it is really a minor detail. And what I do like, well, is everything else. I love the design, the dial, the hands, the crown, the bezel, the bracelet. I am very convinced by the material. I like this version of titanium hardened with Ultra Hex, but above all I like the aesthetics of the whole. You feel you're wearing a different watch, quality, and it doesn't cost you anything to beat it in price. In short, would I reject it, put it on my list, or buy it? I would buy it. RZE has earned my respect, although I must also say that I really like the piece they sent us, but not as much as this sky blue Resolute super compressor, which is the one I would buy right now, as I think it is a spectacular watch, without that meaning any demerit of this Fortitude Nimbus Grey we have reviewed today. It's just a matter of taste and priorities. And so much for today's video. We hope you liked it, and if so, please like, share, participate in the comments, or, if you haven't done it yet, subscribe and thus help us to continue creating this content. Thank you very much, as always, for being there, and if you want, see you in the next video. See you soon.